Hey guys,
Hey everybody.
welcome to another Sunday live travel therapy mentor video. This week we're going to be talking about filing your taxes as a traveler, and specifically how we have, over the last 3 or 4 years, we filed all of our tax returns for free. This has been something, we made a video, I guess it's probably about a month ago, on filing taxes, and is it worth it to basically hire someone to do it for you, or can you do it on your own? We get that question a lot. Something I didn't mention there, and I realized because I've gotten a lot of questions recently, is basically how much it costs. And the reason I didn't mention that is I thought that most people realize that if you make below a certain amount that you can file for free, but a lot of people don't. And at least 3 people over the last week have saved probably about $150 by what we're about to talk about tonight. So anyway, if you have specific questions, we're going to get a little bit into what we talked about previously, but not go through the whole thing again. But specific questions about your own situation, talk to a tax professional. If you're not at all comfortable with taxes, then do that. If you have questions about how we file everything, then go back to the previous video, probably, I think it was about a month ago. But anyway, we're going to talk about how you can file your tax for free as a traveler. And we also have some pretty cool announcements. So Whitney's going to introduce us, give some of those announcements. I'm going to share this video, and then we'll talk about the topic.
All right. Hey everybody. My name is Whitney Aiken.
And I'm Jared Cazazzo.
Excuse me. Thank y'all for joining us tonight. Again, we're both traveling physical therapists. For those that may not know us, we run the website Travel Therapy Mentor and also our personal blog called Fifth Wheel PT. As Jared mentioned, we've talked a little bit about this topic in the past. We try to do videos about various travel therapy topics every single week, something different. And a little while ago, maybe a month or so ago, we talked about taxes, but tonight we're going to delve a little bit more into that. It's important to note, just a quick disclaimer, that we are not tax professionals. We are physical therapists. So this is all just kind of based on research that we've done, research that Jared's done more specifically, and kind of just based on our personal experience with what we've done with our taxes. But it is really important that if you don't understand taxes, if you don't feel comfortable with it, that you reach out to a tax professional. Because in a lot of cases, people would just prefer to let a professional do them. But we just kind of wanted to go over the fact that it's actually not as complicated as you think. And quite often you can do them on your own, and you can do them without having to pay any fees. So we're coming at you live tonight from our hometown of Roanoke, Virginia, and I wanted to go over some announcements for those that kind of keep up with everything that is going on in our lives before we get into tonight's topic while Jared's getting our video shared in a few groups. First off, thanks for those who are tuning in live. I see Jeff is on and a few others. If you are tuning in live, we'd love if you'd say hello in the comments and let us know that you're watching and tell us who you are, if you're a traveler, if you're somebody who's thinking about doing traveling, and those sorts of things. So, some quick announcements. Yesterday we spoke at a conference in North Carolina, the North Carolina Physical Therapy Student Conclave. That was an awesome experience. So shout out to the North Carolina Special Interest Student Group for having us. We did a talk about travel therapy, just kind of generally what travel physical therapy is. And then we also talked about finances after graduation, which is a topic that we've spoken to students about in the past. And it's a topic we feel is very important. So we really enjoyed that. It was a great talk.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun. This was actually the biggest group we've ever spoken in front of, I believe. Even we spoke at the National Student Conclave earlier this year about similar topics, the end of last year, end of October, on similar topics. But that, since it was a breakout session and it was split into 2, they were actually smaller groups than what we talked to this time. So it was a little scary, a little nerve-wracking, but I think it overall went pretty well.
And we actually have recorded a copy of the presentation that we did yesterday. I know I said that several months ago that we were going to be working on that. So if anybody's watching this and you think, I've heard that before, you probably have, because we said we were going to record it. We never got around to it. So I'm going to be finalizing that recording along with the PowerPoint. If anybody is interested, if you're a student and you would be interested in having your class see it, or your student organization at your school, we'd be happy to send that out to you. Just let us know either in this video or send us a message. On top of that, we actually just sold our camper, is another announcement that we have. So if anybody follows us on social media, you might have seen that we finally sold our fifth wheel camper that we've had for almost
over 4 years.
4 years now.
And we actually might sell the truck as well tomorrow. So we've got a lot of changes coming up right before we leave the country, which is in 3 days.
Yep. So in 3 days, we're going to be leaving the country for a 5-month trip throughout Latin America. And this trip is not for work. We won't be working as physical therapists while we're gone. We'll just be traveling for fun, to explore, see a lot of cool things. We will still be working on our online business. So you'll still see Travel Therapy Mentor content every week from us online. While we're out of the country. So still feel free to send us any messages if you have questions or anything. And pray for us just in case any kind of coronavirus craziness happens. Hopefully we won't get sick, and hopefully we won't get quarantined or kind of stuck at any borders.
Yeah. We're pretty much expecting that there's going to be cancellations of flights and issues that come up, but we'll do our best to roll with it and make the best of it.
Yeah.
Hey, Courtney. Hey, Danielle. Thank you guys for joining.
Yep. So I see quite a few of you have hopped on. If y'all are watching, if you would just say hi in the comments and let us know who you are. If you're a current traveler, if you're somebody who's thinking about traveling, we're going to jump into tonight's topic. And as I said a little earlier, just a quick disclaimer, we are not tax professionals, but we are going to give you some insight just based on our experience as being travel therapists.
Yeah, and this is particularly a good time to talk about this because everybody's working on their taxes for the most part. I've been working on mine and helping Whitney with hers for probably a whole week now, but ours are a lot more complicated, I would say, than the normal traveler, and that's just because of the websites and things like that makes it a little more difficult. But in general, I think that the majority of travelers and a lot of people that I've talked to are able to do taxes on their own. I think that most people, myself included, when I started out, I had no idea what I was doing. I'd never filed my taxes ever on my own before I started traveling. And I was also nervous. I didn't know what to do. I didn't know if I should hire someone. And basically, I just researched it on my own and figured it out. It wasn't that difficult, and I think a lot of other travelers have done that. I think the majority of people that have some kind of inclination towards finances, or really, it's not even finances. It's the software itself. And the software over the years has gotten better and better, and it walks you basically through the whole process. It's not that difficult.
Yeah, I was surprised at how actually easy it is, too. I didn't have any experience with filing taxes in the past, and Jared just kind of explained to me, more or less, you just take the sheets that you have, whether those are your W-2s, if you have any 1099s, and the software talks you through everywhere to put the information. So I was surprised at how easy it is. And I would say for the majority of travelers, if you are a typical travel therapist, you're going to work through a staffing company, and they're going to give you a W-2, just like you're a regular employee at a regular hospital. Now, the only difference is if you work with a couple of different companies, like you take a contract with this company and then a different one with that company, you might have more than one W-2.
That's very simple. That only makes things, maybe it adds an extra 3 or 4 minutes to you entering the information. Yeah. It's very, very simple.
And then the other thing is occasionally you could have some kind of 1099 income. For example, if you received any kind of bonus, anything like that. But again, that's just an extra sheet of paper. It's not too complicated. The only time it really gets complicated is if you have your own business, like a side gig of some sort. If you do independent contracting where you don't work through a travel agency, those are the things that might make it a little more complicated. But for the majority of travelers, all you're going to have is just a various W-2s. And then usually, even if you have multiple states, the software is going to talk you through how to file your federal, and then state 1, and then state 2.
Yeah, so like I mentioned in the beginning, we made a whole video about what we do, how we file our taxes. I don't want it to be all that again. I want to just kind of summarize that and then talk about how we've done it for free. So in general, the question I get a lot since we made that video, and I know some other people that have followed for a while know that I do a lot of research on taxes and on finances and things like that. I get the question, well, what about deductions or write-offs? And basically that last video, what I was explaining there is that very, very, very few people are going to be itemizing their taxes, which means that deductions don't matter that much. So if you guys aren't familiar, if you're itemizing your tax return, so you have enough deductions that you can write off higher than the standard deduction amount, that's when itemized deductions matter. But now the standard deduction is $12,200 for last year. So you have to have more than $12,000 in deductions to even for itemizing to even make sense. And for the vast majority of people, I've seen some statistics, it's probably less than 5% are going to be itemizing this year and in the future. So if you don't have to worry about itemized deductions, that makes your taxes extremely simple. You're just entering the W-2 information, you're taking the standard deduction, you answer the questions through the tax software, you file your multiple state tax returns, and that's it. I would say for most people, once you do the research, it should only take you a couple hours per year to do that. Yeah. So
So
deductions are not a big deal, and they're not a big thing that most people need to worry about. In addition to all of that, as of 2018, when the Tax Cuts and Jobs Act was passed, employee expenses for a W-2 employee are no longer tax deductible anyway. So things like your uniform, continuing ed courses, things like that people used to write off in the past are no longer deductible, which make it even harder to get anywhere near $12,000 in itemized deductions. Unless you have like a massive mortgage that you're paying tons of interest on, chances are you're not going to be itemizing. So most people are going to be taking the standard deduction, which makes things extremely simple.
Right, you just select that option. Real quick, I see quite a few of you are on here. I want to take a poll. Of those of you that are watching right now, just leave us a comment and let us know, do you normally file your own taxes? Or do you hire somebody like a CPA or take it to a place that does your taxes for you? Let us know in the comments. And also say whether you're a traveler or not. Because I know there's a lot of people that might say, well, I file them right now by myself, but I think when I become a traveler, I might want to hire somebody. But just let us know in the comments what you guys normally do.
Yeah, okay, so now let's assume that you are one of the individuals that you want to try to figure out on your own, like me, my first year starting out. I knew that most likely we're going to be taking the standard deduction. Even back then it was less, but I knew the deductions that I could itemize are probably going to be less than the standard deduction. So really my only concern was multiple state tax returns. And that ended up not being such a big deal. So for me, for Virginia and the states we've worked in, there could be different rules for your state. So don't take my word for it. But for Virginia, we just file as a resident of Virginia and a non-resident of the states that we work in. And I believe that's the case for the majority of states, that you're filing as a non-resident where you're working and a resident in the states that are your home state. So that makes things a little bit more difficult, but it's really not a big deal. And the tax software should walk you through that, because when you're having your withholdings from your paycheck from whatever travel company you're working with, the state tax withholdings should be for the state that you're working in, not in your home state, which means that when you enter that information, it will show that you pay taxes in a different state. And the tax software, knowing what your address is, your home address, and knowing that you pay taxes to a different state, will say, basically, hey, why are you paying taxes to two different places? You must have worked in this state, and you must have also worked in this state, or this must be your home state. And it'll ask you questions about those states, like were you a partial resident? Because some people might live in a state for part of the year and then move to another state. That's not what we're doing as travelers. We're never moving. Our tax home's still the same unless you're an itinerant worker. But each travel assignment is you're filing as a non-resident of that state. Hopefully that makes sense. Does that make sense?
Yep.
Okay. So that's the only difficult part. And really, I don't think it's that difficult. In terms of filing for free, though, I didn't realize that I think our first year we paid to file. And then after that, so for the last 4 years, I realized that for travelers, we have a lot of loopholes. I talk about this all the time. Like things like if you get health insurance through the marketplace, your premiums are lower. If you go on an income-based repayment plan for student loans, your payments are lower. Obviously, we paid less in taxes. We have a lot of things that we can use to our advantage.
All that is because only part of our pay is tax. So
yeah, it's because
AGI,
our taxable income is low.
Right.
So in addition to that, another benefit that we have is being able to file our taxes for free. So if you go to the IRS website, irs.gov/free file, and you go down through their software, they have different tax software listed. And basically, it'll say if you make below a certain income amount, or adjusted gross income amount, then you can file for free through that link. So that's the interesting thing is I assumed that if you go to the tax software itself and you make below a certain amount, they would automatically give it to you for free. That's not the case at all. You have to go through this specific link on the IRS website. And when I found that out, it saved us like $150 each every year.
This is super interesting. I had no idea because we've been using a software called TaxAct.com, pretty similar to TurboTax, which I know a lot of you guys use. So I would just assume, okay, I would just type in my browser TaxAct.com and I would log into my account and I would file my taxes that way. But then when you get to the end, it says you have to pay a fee to file your taxes depending on how much money you made or how complicated it was and how many different things you had to file. But yeah, like Jared's saying, you need to go to this website and click on the link that says for free file.
Yeah, and so some software will advertise that it's free already. And usually what that means is the most basic return is free. Us as travelers, our return is never going to be the most basic, especially having to file multiple states. So usually what ends up happening is to file first of all, to file, it's like $40, $45, $50, depending on the software. And then each state might be an extra $30. So if you worked in 3 states and then you had to pay the $40 fee to file the taxes in the first place, it might cost you $130 or $150 to file your taxes. But if you go through that link, you don't have to pay anything for any of it. And that's what we've done. I'm even filing for me now, and Whitney as well, helping with hers. We're filing business or Schedule C returns that would normally cost an extra fee, but still, if you go through that free file link, it's also free.
Yeah.
So that is I know at least 3 travelers have reached out to me that have saved $120 to $150 on their tax returns just by going through this link. It's the same exact software. It's just a different link that you go through. It's kind of ridiculous, but...
Can you say the name of the website again?
Yeah, it's irs.gov/freefile. And if you go to that website, they list all the different tax softwares and what their income range is. So what amount you have to make less than to qualify for the free file.
You want to read them off?
So for TurboTax, it's less than $36,000, which is pretty low. Some travelers might make more than that, depending on how much you're contributing to pre-tax accounts.
And remember, this is your AGI, so you might think like, wow, I make a lot more money than that because I'm a traveler and I work year-round, right? So this is just based on your AGI, which is only the taxable portion of your pay. So in a lot of cases, you are going to qualify.
Yeah, but so for Tax Act, like we use, if you make less than $59,000, your adjusted gross income, then you can file for free for everything. Like I said, for Schedule C, for your federal return, for all your state returns, all of that's free. So there's almost no travelers, unless you're taking all your pay tax, that are going to have a taxable income higher than $59,000.
Yep. So Jared's just on the IRS.gov website on the free file section, and it says IRS free file program delivered by TurboTax, $36,000 or less. IRS free file program delivered by Tax Act, $59,000 or less. And there's a few different ones on here.
TaxSlayer. There's also some websites. I know Jeff, if he's still watching, really likes Credit Karma, and that's a website where they advertise free tax filing, which I'm not sure what all that entails. I haven't looked into it a lot. It might not include state returns, but yeah, going through this website was really a game changer for us. Over the years, we've saved probably $1,000 or more between the two of us. So, and like I said, everything's exactly the same. It's just going through that link makes it free.
Yep. So I highly encourage you guys to check this out.
We'll put the link in the comments.
Yeah, and we can also link to the first video that we did a few weeks or a month ago, just about filing taxes as a traveler in general. I honestly think, I know I have Jared to help me a lot with this, and he's really savvy when it comes to this stuff, but I really do think...
So the thing is, I'm not savvy. I like to research things, and I'll figure things out.
You are savvy, though.
I had no idea what I was doing 4 years ago. Seriously, no clue, and I just Google things, figure it out. But not savvy.
You're savvier than me. You're savvier than me and Veronica. But Veronica did it on her own, so props to Veronica, because Veronica won't mind me saying this. She admits that she has trouble with these types of things, financial and stuff like that, and she was able to do it. You guys can do it too. You guys can make this happen, get it for free, save money. Anywhere we can save money is good, right? That's more money we can put towards savings or buying things that we want, or more vacation time. So yeah, highly encourage you guys to check that out. Any questions? I know we have a few comments here. We'll kind of go through the couple comments. Any questions that you guys have, please let us know. Also, if you're watching this, if you're getting any value, if we maybe potentially saved you a little bit of money by this free hack, maybe if you can just give us a thumbs up on the video, we would appreciate it. Or leave us a comment and say thanks. Just the more you like it and comment, the more people that will see our videos. So we'll read through a couple comments here. And again, if y'all have questions, please let us know. Okay, Alexandra says, graduating in May, I plan to travel with my fiance who's also a PT. Hey Alexandra, thanks for joining us. Hi Lindsay, hi John. Jeff said he files on his own the last 4 years, and this is the first time he's going to be doing it as a traveler. I think, did Jeff already do his?
Yeah, I think he already did it.
And I think Jeff used the link to get it for free, which is awesome.
Or he might have used Credit Karma like I was talking about.
Okay. Melody Hansen says, usually uses TurboTax. This is the first year I'll be doing it as a traveler. Federal was easy, but the state taxes are confusing.
Yeah, TurboTax, I'm not, like I said, I figured it all on my own using Tax Act. That's just for some reason what I chose. I don't know why I did back then. And now I don't want to switch because I'm used to it. But I've had some people send me questions from TurboTax and ask what they should click on. And it's different. It does seem to me to be more confusing, but it's probably also because I'm not familiar with it as well as much.
Courtney says she's a student now. She's doing taxes on her own, but looking for help for when she starts traveling. So yeah, we met Courtney at the National Student Conclave in Albuquerque, right?
Yeah.
So Courtney, we're very excited for you to start your travel journey, and I'm very confident that you will be able to do your taxes still on your own when you start traveling. Maggie says, first year traveler, I sent in my stuff to a family member who's a CPA. Definitely not a bad option to reach out to a CPA if you feel more comfortable with that.
Yeah, especially if it's a family member.
Absolutely. Maybe they don't charge you, or maybe they charge you less. If anybody is feeling uncertain, we always recommend a really good website to check out is called traveltax.com. Joe Smith is the owner at TravelTax. He's extremely helpful. They'll answer your questions for free. And then they have listed their fee schedule on their website if you decided that you want to file taxes through them.
And like I said in the last video, I think it's important. I would recommend that everyone at least give it a shot on their own. And if you get to a point where you don't think that you can do it, or things get too confusing, you can't research and figure it out, then you can always go to a CPA. But I just think that most people would be able to figure it out. I think that it's really not that confusing.
But don't wait till the last minute if you're going to use that
Do
strategy.
not wait till the last minute, because CPAs are busy during tax time. So yeah, try to get on that now if you're going to try that. But yeah, try it on your own, see how it goes. If you think that you can figure things out, then just do the research. It takes a little bit of time. It's a little weird at first, but after you get it, it's not a big deal.
Alexandra says she's a student filing on her own, but she wants to know the best route for when she starts traveling. Hopefully this will help you guys out, Alexandra. Armand says, I always hire someone just to get them to guarantee the work. That way, if something gets missed, I don't end up on the hook for it, especially after the first year of traveling.
Yeah, there's some value in that for sure. There's some security. You feel like you're just putting it on somebody else and you don't have to worry about it. I will admit that there are times when I worry, or in the past, not as much anymore, but I used to worry that I was doing things right. But so yeah, I mean, I can definitely understand that point of view.
Hey, Nick. Nick says, wow, thanks, guys. I didn't know this. I owe you a drink at the pool on Wednesday. You're welcome, Nick, and we look forward to seeing you. Nick will also be at Club Cormed, which is the first stop on our international trip on Wednesday. And the joke's on us because it's an all-inclusive, so that drink
All the
will be
drinks
free.
are free.
That drink will be free anyway, but I'll take you up on that offer, Nick, so thank you.
Hey, Tyler, thanks for joining.
Hey, Veronica. Veronica said she used this technique. Thanks for the recommendation. It was a game changer. Veronica also says, no shame. I know nothing about tax life. I hear you, Veronica.
So, mostly I want to do this as like a PSA to anybody that is filing taxes on their own as a traveler, and they think they have to pay $100 to $150 to do it through these software services, because chances are, if you go to that link and you find the tax software you use, it'll be free to do it. So if some people can save money from that, that's awesome. So give it a shot. Let us know how it goes, and good luck.
All right, thank you guys for joining us, and please let us know if you have any questions. Again, if you got any value out of this video, please like the video, leave us a comment, and Jared put the link to the irs.gov free file website below, and then I'll also link to the old video that we did on the same topic.
Yep. Thank you, guys. See you next week. Hopefully I think we will be in Argentina, possibly. No, where will we be? Peru?
I don't know.
Well, we'll see you guys from next week from somewhere.
All right, bye guys. Thank
Bye.
you.